Hey, hello, 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 hello. You're very welcome back to hopefully this completely interneted and networked Molten live chat. Hello, you're very welcome. Thanks ever so much to Gaz for sending people over. If you've been watching that his stream about that fascinating plugin. That's great. You're very welcome to come along here and relax for the rest of the evening as we mess about with some stuff. Now, things always change, and this evening I'm using a different microphone. I'm using the one that I use on Sonic State, and when I'm doing stuff up on my desktop machine, because I need to move around a little bit, and I thought that might work. So it might be quieter than you're used to, or not, but do let me know if you can't hear for any reason, or if you can't hear the sound, or the mix is terrible, or you just want to moan about something. Then do stick it in the chat, because I will be monitoring that as we go. So well, let's shout out to our man Ooey Jack Ooey over on Twitch. Twitch is a fantastic experience if you go and try it out over there. It's like having the best seats in the house, because there's no one else getting in your way. So it's lovely being on Twitch. Thanks for turning up over there. That's great. Feels like a YouTube festival flying over from Gaz's channel. Yeah, it does a bit. That's great. So this, in case you haven't really gathered, this was a live stream I was supposed to do Sunday night, but I had weird internet problems. Just weird one, where the internet was fine in the house, but in the shed it had just collapsed and didn't know what it was doing. So I couldn't make it work. So I've fiddled with it a bit. I've replaced a couple of cables and it seems to be working. So we're just going to go with that. So here we are. My name's Robin. This is the Molten Music Technology or Molten Modular live stream this evening. The plan is to try out some bits of gear. Now, the thing is that the summer really didn't go well for me in terms of productivity. A combination of the heat. I mean, trying to work in the shed when the heat was really heaty was very difficult. So I lost a lot of time to that, a lot of time to holidays and kids and messing about and stuff. So I've been sort of unable to do anything other than grafting to normal work in order to keep the lights on and stuff like that, which is increasingly important. So I haven't been able to really make videos and try out stuff that's been sent to me over the summer. So I thought, why don't we just throw it all together, plug it all in, or not necessarily all at once, but let's have a look at a few bits that I've been sent. This will be my first play on them, so I haven't I did a little bit of testing out of one or two bits, but not very much. So this is going to be a first impressions, a bit of a dive in. So if you want to download the manuals or something so you can help me along, that would be awesome. I would very much appreciate that. But before we kick off, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? Is it best not even to dwell on things, and perhaps best just to get on with the electronic-y music making stuff, because that's really ultimately the salve that makes us feel better about the world. Maybe that's it. But hi Jason, hi Wagyu, hi Day, Synthatic, Elini, Andrew, I saw you in there. Martin from Sydney, good gracious. That's very kind of you to pop in. Rolling little things. So what's been going on? Well, the things that I have. Let me introduce you to what we're going to be talking about today. Should I do it? I'll do it from where we are at the moment, I think. So I'll pick things up and show them to you. So we have a little array of Roland things. Now these came out ages ago. It's old news really, except they haven't actually been in the shops really very much. So finally, now that they're available in the shops and Roland had a few to spare, they sent me a bunch. So I've got these three here, 1, 2, 3, which I'm going to write a review for Gear News website. And I kind of already know what I'm going to say, because they are instantly interesting, and 2/3 of which I would say are just fantastic. The other third is like, what was the point of that? So that's my review in a nutshell. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, that sounds great. What on earth's this about? But hey, there is no getting into the mind of Roland. They very much do their own thing, it has to be said. So we're gonna These don't even take power, do they? I mean, they've got batteries integrated, I think. Anyway, I'm not going to get distracted other than to go, ooh, and that's going to be fun. Then, in Eurorack terms, in this line here, I will turn the top one on. Hang on a second. That is this one. No, you have to actually tap the screen, you fool. Yes, there we go, that one. So this is the Eurorack I've got going on. All this is new and untapped, as it were. We have the busy circuits ALM. I don't know which way round that goes. Let me just make sure that microphone's working. Good, good. Yeah, the ASQ1, which is, I mean, look at the size of this thing. I mean, how what's the word? How luxurious, how extravagant is this in HP because of the clickety-clackety keyboard? I mean, is the keyboard really so good, so cool and key that it needs to be this size? Because it could otherwise be half the size, you know, with smaller buttons and stuff. But my assumption is that this is awesome. Ooh. And it's a little bit wired in. Oh, let's see, Wagyu, all he wants is the dodgy one. Ah, that's interesting. You see, you never know with people. You never know what people are into, what they like. You can't assume that people are into the same stuff as you ever. I'm constantly surprised. Dave says that Roland's Rolkers, yeah, okay, seem to be a bit less up themselves and deliberately quirky than the Volkers. Interesting. So yeah, ASQ1, which I mean, I've had a little play because I had to have a play with this, which I'll get to in a second. Next along here is the Frader Bank. Now this is fabulously simple and effective. I love it. Again, it's pretty big. That's its only downfall. But it is 8 faders of CV recordable control voltage. So all you do is you hold a button and go, or something like that, and then it does it. There, it's off. It's doing it, and that's just fantastic. It's instant LFOs in any kind of shape that you want, and I think that's totally marvelous. That's from Music Equipment Concepts. They're the people who did the Chord Monger, which was a weird but slightly fascinating, well, no, more than slightly. A fascinating chord generating box that I kind of thought I was going to do something fabulous with, but just never really found the time, sadly. But this is done in the same sort of style. I mean, it looks and feels like it's kind of been put together like a school project. But I just love what it does. It absolutely. I've got a Sound Machines. Is it a Sound Machines LS1 light strip thing over on my main rig, which I use for similar ideas, but this is just that bit simpler. And these faders are super. But anyway, I have a bit of a play with that. That's going to be good. Look, green lights, red lights. Green light, red light. There's one that does a thing. So yeah, super, like that. And then next along we have, I don't know what that's doing. We've got the RYK Vector Wave. Now, you might have seen this in Loop Pop's video about some other device. What was he doing that on? Where this just sort of sat around in the background going, what the heck is that? Oh, it was the Eventide. Yeah, that was fascinating. Because Loop Pop did a phenomenally better demo on the Eventide. What's it called? You'll know. That weird melody sequencer thing. Far better one than Eventide I've ever done. But he still seemed, as far as I can work out, only used MIDI. And that's got me scratching my head because there's control voltage at play there. And surely that's ultimately a more interesting angle, isn't it? I think it is. So I'm still yet to see a decent demo of the Eventide thingy that actually uses the multiple channels of CV. So, Misha, thank you. But anyway, by the by, this is the Vector Wave, and it is complicated and slightly tricky, but also fascinating. So I've had a little bit of a play with that just so that I have some kind of clue as to what it's doing. So we'll have a look at that. Next to that is an expander for it. And then we have the trigger sequencer from Tenderfoot Electronics. Trigger sequencer, it's just 16 steps, as you can see. It probably needs a clock. How do I get that to work again? Oh, maybe it is. Where's that going? That's going over there. Oh, it seems to be moving. There we go, clock over there. There we go. So 16 steps of things with, I think, probability or other bits and pieces and ratcheting and stuff in there. So we're going to have a quick poke of that. That also has an expander, but I don't have that plugged in at the moment. I didn't screw any of these in, look. They're just as loose as anything. Honestly, what was I doing? Next to that is the greenhorn, which is a new one from Tenderfoot, which I don't know, I haven't looked up what that is because it's not on their website yet. But I think it's like an 8-step sequencer. Seems to be that sort of thing. And then they've got this clock module, which is very, very handy because the ASQ1, ALM, of course, recommend that you use Pam's workout thing in order to run the clock. And I don't have one of those. I'm the only person, possibly in the world, who doesn't have a Pam's workout. But I don't. I mean, I'm not a clocky person. What does that mean? Well, I mean, there's usually a clock somewhere that I can use, and that runs a tempo, and I don't really see any need to do anything more complicated than that, other than to use a clock divider, which I have. But this appears to be a couple of things. It has its own clock, because the other clock divider I've got needs a clock from somewhere else, of course, whereas this seems to have one, although I can't quite work out exactly how that works. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get to that. But otherwise, over here at the back, we're back on this camera, we are, is the PWM Malevolent, which again is another synthesizer that feels like it's been out a long time, but again, it's only seemed to have just arrived. And I noticed that Nick at Sonic State had just done a review of it, which was interesting. So essentially, it's built by Future Sound Systems, so you're going to absolutely assume that it's a bit kind of gritty. I would say. So I think what I should do, I should crack open a beer because it's really hot in here today. Can I turn any of these? I can't turn any of these lights off particularly. And then we'll have a play. Should we just play with the Rolands first, just to get a bit of something going, and before we get too deep into some crazy Eurorack stuff? What's awfully quiet? My mic? Or does it? Anyway, let me know. Let me see if I can see myself. 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, I mean, that's kind of it goes. It's kind of how it goes. Perfect here, says Steve. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so this evening's beer is some more Beavertown neck oil. Oh. Oh, well, maybe we'll start off by flying by the seat of my pants. Where am I going to put my beer that's not going to be knocked over? Over there for a minute. That's fine. And that's this fella. Now this, I can't tell you anything about it, other than it's a guy down in, I can't remember. But, yeah, you're just going to have to deal with the mic, I'm afraid. Just turn yourself up if it's a little low, because, ideally this microphone should be here, but that doesn't make for a practical demonstration and moving around kind of thing. So you're going to have to deal with it being sort of like this sort of distance, yeah? So I can fix it by not doing the live stream properly, if you understand me. Anyway, so some guy near Norwich sent this to me. I have no idea what it does or what it sounds like, but he suggested that I might like it. So I'm just going to... I've not plugged this in at all. Plug this in here, do you think? That seems to fit. Does it have an on? Unknown. Alright, well, let's plug some of the sound thing in. So that's that one. That looks good. Sorry everyone, just hold on to yourself. Awesome. Maybe there's an on switch I haven't spotted. No, it just seems to go in there. Maybe it's the wrong polarity. Could be. Just gonna try another one. Oh look, hang on. There we go. That one doesn't do anything. I know. I'll swap to that other thing. Well, there we go. Well, that was indeed quite interesting. There's a piece of paper in the box and stuff that will tell me a bit more about it. But it's called the Fractone. And as I say, it's hand built by this geezer near Norwich. That's quite interesting. Need to get to the bottom of that. So anyway, that's a warm up. That's a warm up. Yeah. So what should we do? Oh yeah, the Roland things. Right. So what camera are we on? That one there. Is that going to work for this? Let me try to make that work. Hang on. So this is when the old moving the microphone really works for me. Is that of any use? Is it just staring to the side of me there, or is that actually going to work? The only thing is I can't actually see that for reasons which will not become clear at the moment. So okay, let's go with this thing. Just going to move that camera on a bit there. Ah, great! You'll be able to see my belly overhang. That's just perfect. Perfect. Good. Right. So these fellas then. I'm going to need to get a few cables for some mixing. Don't need mixing, do I? I mean something else. Anyway, so mix out. Go in there. I do have a bit of reverb on the mixer, so you might be able to hear that. But you know, this is not an exercise in reviewing anything. This is just a question of giving something a go and seeing what happens. Really. So we've got 1, 2. I'm going to leave this one out for the minute. What am I going to do with that? Honestly, see what I mean. I understand it because Roland do these VT voice controllers and bits and pieces for live performance, and people use them for creating harmonies and such like. No, I can understand that, but for and releasing these as a 3, so you've got a drum machine, you've got a chord machine, and then you've got something to affect your vocals. I just think this would be better off if it was a multi-effects unit. I mean, it's got a reverb, but it could have had a load of different effects in it, including a harmony one, a harmonizer, I think. But hey, maybe I'll try it in a minute. I don't really have a microphone that has that connector on it, but we'll see. Let's focus on these two for the minute and see if I can get something to function. They seem to have rechargeable batteries, which seem to be charged up. What buzz? And turn this one on. So what we have here, as my understanding, is this is a Juno 106, fantastic in a little box. This is exactly what Behringer were hoping to do and have completely failed to do so far, really. And this is an 808 and a 303 in a box. Woohoo! See, I hope that would have been more interesting. Here we go. Well, I mean, that's built into it. That had nothing to do with me. I just turned a couple of things on. So I couldn't get the sync to work, but I probably need to tell it to do that, and I don't know how. I haven't looked at the manuals. This is the first time I've turned them on. So there's something weird going on with the bass line, which I wasn't sure about. Maybe get out of that. I think I should have. See a pattern. Yeah, exit. That's what we want. fun. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's a winner, that one, the T8. Without any doubt. So there's probably a way to roll things. I couldn't seem to find that particularly, and also everything seems to be routing through the effects, which again, I don't, maybe you can do something about that. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, look, there's a random button. If I do that and random the rhythm, does that then do that? You keep going back to it, that's the thing. You just want to go, ooh, but I'll be here hours if I'm not careful. So, yeah, interesting. So, first impressions of the T8. Cool, yeah, that's a load of fun. J6 then. So, this sounds really good by itself. Putting the two together worked for a bit. I'm not going to work the sync out now, unless anybody can tell me what the key combinations are. But otherwise, it looks like I press a button and it plays a nice sequence of chords. I'm in an 80s machine based on, they've sucked in some of their ACB-ing of the Juno, as my understanding. So I've got a sound button here which makes these flash. Which doesn't do anything. I've also got a knob I can twist. Maybe I need to select bank and preset. Maybe that's the point. Oh, here we go. So I must be able to do the same thing with the pattern, presumably. So they're still changing the sound. Okay. Sorry, yeah, the mic is... Let me turn the music down a little bit. I'll turn it down here. I'll turn it up where I can hear it. Is that a little bit better? Balance? So you can just take it down to chords. went well for a little bit. Thing about it, doesn't it? It has a real vibe. It pulls you almost immediately into a particular feel, a particular style. It's quite interesting. There's this variation in style. That's going to be something. So let's set something going and see what happens. See, again, I'm in a Molly Ringwald movie. Heck is that? Okay, so there we go. That's the Roland things. We can't spend all night on those. I'm not going to worry about the vocal one at the moment because I don't have any way to set that up. So yeah, the J6, interesting. I mean, it's very. I can definitely. I mean, some of the demos that I've seen, they fall together really easily, I think. But I wonder where the real variation and difference is. I mean, the T8 you can play with all day and all night. This I don't know. I don't know so much. So the jury's out on that one, but let's put these away and let's get into the Eurorack. I'll just throw these over here. But I mean, compared them to something like a Volca, Volcas can be unnecessarily complicated, I find, whereas those were both very, very instant. I am noticing you talk about the Synth Fest. which is cool and that. My plan actually is just to go for the day, and I'll probably be driving if that's gonna be a shame for everybody. So let's have a look at the ASQ1. Let's drive it into the vector wave and kind of see what happens, and then maybe put some of the fader bank in there. Does that sound like a good idea? I'm going to bring this mic over a little bit because it's not quite reaching. I've forgotten which way is up. Come on. Is that better? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Just go with it. Go with it. Right. So that's not quite in the way of you, is it? No, I'll stick that. Just bring that back a little bit further. So ASQ1. I need an output. I'm going to use this one. Plug that into something like that. So ASQ1, how did I do this before? I think I pressed that and I went. And then it just worked. Needs a clock. Got a clock coming in from over here. I need to turn that on to something. Is that better or worse? No. That's slower. So that's the ASQ1 really. You press the store button, which I think is annoying. Press a bunch of things and it's a tune. It's kind of cool. Now over here, I'm just going to pull this over to bank A for the moment. And what you have is you have 4 knobs at the top, 4 knobs at the bottom. The bottom ones give you, because there's 4 sections, four banks. Each one's got 4 oscillators, so you can set the level of each oscillator within the 4. Like so. And you can also set how they relate to each other. Got it? I mean, that's pretty much it. then I think I can use the second lot here to play the second one. Let me just stop for a minute. Okay, think there was a load one. Save mode, vector. So what I want is mode, G. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so now I'm not going between, I'm not vectorizing between stuff because I've got one going to one and one going to the other. Now just got to navigate this. Go to the second mode, store. If I go oh, okay, let's do that again. Need to go up a couple of things. Okay, that's effective. So, sorry, I'm just sort of discovering and playing things. So I'm just going to introduce this fader bank into it. I just hold the button and I move this in order to record the control voltage, which is changing the folding, I think, on that B sound. Now it should just do it. Yeah, it's something else. Now, there's presets in here. How do I get to that? I can't quite remember. I don't know what those numbers mean. Press it again. Press it now. It gets to mode, output, save, load, load, load 1, 2. Oh, how do I get to presets? Done. Oh. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to a single channel just so we can play more with the vector waves that are inside it. So I don't know here. I'm getting the hang of the menu system now. So MIDI off. I mean, it is a complete MIDI synth as well. You can plug a MIDI keyboard in and play them as proper chords and that kind of thing. I'm just trying to tough it out in the world of control voltage. So mode is on vector 2, so you can use it in poly mode, in multi mode, or in vector 1 and vector 2 modes. I'm not quite sure what the difference between the two is, but it seems to be now you can move between different things. Let me stick in another thing. See, I love the randomness of an SH-101 sequencer. I have no clue what I'm doing, but it's fun. I killed it. I sort of know what I'm trying to get to, but I'm not really accomplishing it at the moment. But I mean, I've played with this literally just long enough to get a sound out. So it's complicated. I mean, Jake from RYK says, you know, you've got to give it some time because it's not a straightforward module. But I'm finding that it is. If I can just remember exactly the combinations, you know, these ones at the top tend to adjust parameter values, whereas these ones at the bottom change which parameter you are addressing, if you like. So that's how the menu system works. The LEDs in the middle are brilliant to look at. And I'm sort of on the fence about whether it's useful enough, whether it could have done with being perhaps more detailed or not, or perhaps it's just a matter of sort of tuning yourself into what you're seeing, I think. So yeah, but there's so much to explore in here. I mean, just taking it from a drone perspective. Hey, yeah. Interesting. That Malevolent's a bit weird. Let's get closer into that, I think. So I'm just going to turn this off for the minute, move it out of the way. And let's have a closer look at the keyboard. Because this was not making any sense at all. So I've got an output. I've also got an output on the back. I mean, I'm assuming that this output works as something. There's a keyboard. I've got envelopes firing. Oh, but I've turned it off over here. Sorry. No, stand by. Stand by. There's something there. So I've essentially got some self-resonance going on from the filter. How do you make it do anything? Do you have to patch it? That doesn't seem quite right. Okay, let's use one oscillator. So what is that running? Amplitude modulation. Okay, I've got a... I don't know. Mixer. So, mixer, there's nothing there. Looks level. Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Definitely something happening. Maybe those are outputs, not... Oh no, but are they... That was an input, but that seemed to be an input. Maybe I patch from here, do I? Does it have to be patched? You're talking about Pink Floyd? That's no help to me. Maybe it was that I should have been doing. Maybe it goes from gate here, but then to what? Oh. So I was getting... Oh, sorry! I was getting a drone. What I can't seem to do is gate it. How do I... I mean, this is turning on envelope 1 and envelope 2. Just the keyboard. But how do I patch the envelope out, to what? To gate? Those are all outputs. These are inputs. Quite a level. Foxed. I am foxed. Maybe I have to plug it into the headphone out. Should I do that? Do I have a... Yep. Let me plug it into the main output on the back. Maybe that's my floor at the moment. No, that's not it. I don't know. I don't get it. Don't get it. So, good start. I don't get it. Envelope 2. that it? Okay, we have some success. That's the thing. Any questions then at this point? Yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. Right, let's see if I can get some drums going on the trigger sequencer. What time are we on? 10:30, okay. So I've done some stuff then, which I think was kind of interesting, but let's see if I can get a little bit of this going, then maybe we'll just take a break and finish my beer and chat and stuff. So, see that all right? So I'm going to find some drum sounds out of here. What have I got? Well, I've got a kick. I can trigger. That gives me a double. Of all this time, have I been monitoring myself poorly? Don't think so, have I? That is, oh no, this one, audio, I need to go to there, don't I? That's better. Hope you can still hear that. Yeah, looks like you can. Right, so if I was to trigger it from this fella, from the ASQ1, how would I do that, do you think? Stick it across to mode, trigger, do a bit of that. Clock. Oh, I still need to wind in the clock. Well, that was pretty easy. Let's take this out to there. I need an output. So if I put it on to second mode, Got cable stuck. Give us a minute. I think I've worked out the timing on this. I think it's a tap tempo. I'm completely wrong. Well, there we go. That was interesting. Kind of interesting, I think. So, I mean, I had no real... Ah! Ow! Ow! Oh! Oh my goodness. Oh, gee, flippin' whiz. Oh, cool. Ow. Just give us a second. Flippin' heck. I just had my finger crushed in the flippin' microphone boom thing. Good grief. Oh, wow. Oh. This thing has been giving me jip all day. Oh. God, there was a moment there. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. All right, are you going to behave yourself? Is that okay? Cool. Wow. Okay. Oh, just give us a moment. So there we go. What was all that about then? I have no idea. Let me just bring those comments in a little bit closer, so I feel I'm with you in some way. Is it broke? I don't think so. You still hear me all right, I'm assuming? Ow. Cool. God, my finger though. Cool, flipping it. Caught in ear it was. Okay, so get myself together. There was a bunch of stuff then. We plugged it in, we played with the Malevolent. That was a little bit weird. I'm still slightly finding it slightly strange. I still can't work out why it is that envelope 2 seemed to be the thing that was making it work, and what that has to do with amplitude modulation over there. And what the second one was about. So yeah, I think that requires a little bit of looking into the manual on, well, as does everything. Here I am trying to intuit my way into bits of gear, which I've probably got no business doing, but that seemed to be like the fun way to approach it. And we did get sound out in the end, and it sounded really gritty and broken, but you know, in a good way, in a deliberate way, in an intentional way. So that's good. It's just a matter of working out what the modular side of it means, because it doesn't immediately make sense. Because I was trying to work out if I can use it, if it was modular, then surely I could route the VCO through a VCA, but there is no VCA that I can see in a modular sense, so I had no way of using the envelope to control that. At least that's as far as my mind was going at the time. So there has to be another way of looking at it. Starsky car will help, yeah? Okay, I'll have a look at that. But it certainly seemed to be very dirty. Interesting. The ASQ one is exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is flipping brilliant. Because what I've always liked about the SH101's sequencer is that it just generates stuff. I've never really put anything in on purpose. I've just gone, ooh, a bit of that, a couple of ties, a couple of rests, a couple of bit of that, and it just comes up with interesting things. I really like that, and it did there too. You know, once I've been brave enough to put a few bits in, it's not always going to be instant every single time, but that was great. The trigger sequencing bit was good. Obviously, it's changing this row of 8 all the time. So when I was hearing something and then wanting to change it, it had already flipped to the next 8 of the 16. So that was a little bit confusing. I wonder if there's other things you can do with it, like fills or rolls or probabilities or all those sorts of things. I'll have to have a look into that, because on the front panel it doesn't appear to be anything like that. But just for simple 2-track sequencing and some drums, It's good. Is it good enough to take up all that space? That's my question. But then do I have a sequencer that would be as easy to put in notes as that? Because that is so easy. So easy. Fader Bank does exactly what it says on the tin, so that's cool. It's going to be more useful in a larger rig, I think. And the vector wave is just a whole other world, of stuff to discover. There's so much in there. It's going to take a little bit of while to unravel, I think, but some beautiful, beautiful sounds. The way you're building things up with like additive synthesis and then detuning. Great, and there's all this other stuff inside that I don't understand yet, like cross modulations and the wavefolding, and it's the bit of navigating yourself around the system. I mean, it does have a proper manual, so you know it's all in there. It's all in there. Harmonic views, modulation slots. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Interesting. The trigger sequencer, didn't quite get to the bottom of that. I got something going. So it seems to be that you hold a button and that shows you the pattern, and then you can add and remove steps from that with that knob. That seems to be about right. But I wasn't sure when I was getting the ticks and when I wasn't getting them, or when Ratchet was working and when it wasn't. So that requires a little bit of looking into, which I will do. And the green horn at the end, I'm not sure what that was doing or what I was trying to do with it, so I'm not going to worry about that one for now. But otherwise, good. Good. What's that one called again? Which one? How different is the Fader Bank from the voltage block? I don't know. I don't know the voltage block. All I can tell you is that I hold a button and I move a fader and it repeats doing that. That's as clever as it gets. It doesn't really get any cleverer than that. I'm sure the voltage block is far cleverer. But this is just good and simple. Nice. The digital oscillator. It's called the Vector Wave from RYK Modular. So I think in the scheme of things, my schedule for the moment, talking about what, because yeah, there's a difference between stuff that's been sent to me for review and things that I've bought that I'd like to do a video on. So I've bought the ASQ1 because I wanted to do a video on it and I really liked it as a thing. So that's probably going to have the least priority in getting a video made. Whereas I've only got the Malevolent on a 2-week loan, so I've got to send it back. So that's probably going to be something I'm going to do relatively quickly. Also, the Roland ones are sent for Gear News, as I say, so I've got to do a review on those as soon as. So I'm probably going to get to those quickly. Otherwise, I have other things to do also, like the Qubit Aurora. That's high on my list, as is the Bastel Pizza. I've got to do both of those as Sound on Sound magazine, so they're going to be coming along soon. And for all of these, I will squeeze out a video, as well as if I'm writing it up, I'll also do a video on them, because that seems appropriate. That seems right for the sort of thing that I do. So that's the plan on those. The Vector Wave is going to take some time, I think, just spending time with it, playing with it, getting to understand it. So I imagine Luke Pop's video will be long before mine. The trigger sequencer and stuff, yeah, I'm going to have a look into that. I've also got a whole bunch of modular to build. No end. And I've been in the middle of doing a Moog Mavis video now for about 4 weeks. I've just got to get it finished. Just got like a last roundup of performances to do. So as soon as I think I've got too much writing to do this week, but as soon as I get back to video making next week, I'm going to be clearing this all out, finishing off the Moog Mavis is the first thing to do. So yeah, got to get into that. So I reckon the Mavis, then the Rolands, then the Malevolent, and God, my finger hurts. And then see where we go. See where we go from that. All right. Have we talked about the new Modal Kickstarter? No, we haven't, David. Would you like to? It looks nice. I mean, I have no doubt that Modal can make a nice filter. It's a transistor ladder filter, you know, a Moog filter, essentially. Same one that they had apparently in their 002 synthesizer. It has the morphing capability that seems to be in all their synthesizers, where you can go through some different filters and find spots in between them. Not different filters, different modes of filter. So steep low pass through band pass to high pass. I think in the Cobalt it's also got a notch filter as well. You're backer number one on that. Well done, mate. I thought it was yeah, I thought it was good. Are they going to be able to sell 170 of those to reach their target? I mean, the goal of 50,000 is quite a lot. It's quite a lot. That's a lot of modules to sell for 300 quid, you know. But hey, I mean, you've got to try, I guess. But I don't know. There's something doesn't sit right with me quite about them doing it on Kickstarter. I mean, I know they have in the past, of course, with the craft synths and bits like that. But for a modular Eurorack module, it's the sort of thing that can keep little boutique modular shops afloat. You know, a good brand, a desirable design and filter for a decent price. You know, that would really help people like Elevator Sound and Signal Sounds and Cymru Beats and places like that. They could really do with that kind of stuff in these troubled times that we have. So to put it on a Kickstarter seems like it's bypassing all of that possibilities of the rest of the community having some ownership over the module, I think. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a strange decision, I suppose. But hey, I don't know anything about it. But otherwise, no, it looked good, sound good. I was surprised that it didn't sort of push more at the stereo side of things. I mean, it's a twin filter, so obviously you can use it in stereo, but it had a mono mix output as opposed to a stereo mix output. So no panning or interesting those sorts of things within the module itself. But hey, it is what it is, and it does normal from one to the other, so you can modulate both sides at the same time. So that's pretty groovy. So it looks, I mean, it's a beautiful looking thing, yeah, I have to say. So yeah, all right. Not too bad. Did they release a module before? I thought they'd always talked about it and never actually quite got it off the ground. So, yeah, there's that. Anything else you'd like to talk about before we call it a night? Trying to think if there's any stars of the Molten Monthly that I haven't mentioned. Well, I could give you a slight update on the Molten Modular Synth Meet, which might be called something else. I haven't quite decided yet. I feel it's like no one else puts their name to a synth event. Do you know what I mean? And so to call it a Molten Modular Synth Meet seems somehow narcissistic of myself, as opposed to calling it, I don't know, something to do with synthesizers in Norwich. Do you know what I mean? Coming up with a nice, interesting or simple name for it that could be hosted by Molten Modular or in association with, or, you know, that kind of thing, as opposed to naming it after myself. Do you know what I mean? So, but anyway, it is coming along. There are developments. It looks like we are going to flip it to the spring now because time has just marched on. But sometime in March, ideally, hopefully, we're going to do a bit of a thing in Norwich. It's very exciting. It's so far looking like it might well be a bit bigger than I'd planned. But that's all going to be down to getting people to come along and have a lovely time. But it could be very, very interesting. So I'll keep you updated on that. That's kind of all I have at the minute. There's a few. There's a venue which is very nearly been confirmed. We just need to go and have a meeting and talk about it. So that's very exciting. Otherwise, Synthfest in a couple of weeks. I'll be doing another one of these before it, I think. So yeah, we can talk about that more then. But Synthfest is coming along. I will be going. I'll be taking a couple of my kids, I think. So I'm probably not going to be staying over. I'm just going to be long driving it there in the morning, long driving back. I think I could stay over. But then what are my kids going to do? Don't know. Anyway, so that's a possibility. Robin Vincent presents the Molten Modular Festival of Synthesis. Yeah, no, that trips off the tongue, that does, I think. The Norfolk Braids. Oh, that's quite clever. Yeah. Patch Norfolk. Norfolk Patch. See, the thing is, it wouldn't be just a modular event. I mean, it probably would be mostly, but I think to broaden the appeal rather than just having a modular meet, and also to big up my friends at the Norwich Synth Club and the open electronic music open mic Norwich group, is to just open it up to synths in general, I think. So I'm gonna not make it a modular meets or a modular event, but obviously there will be lots of modular there. I also have other really fascinating, fantastic ideas coming along this year with just not enough time to implement them. But you know, I have some other things coming up which I'm not going to tell you about now. I'm just going to say I have other things coming up because that's exciting. I've got this great idea I'm working on, which I think could be good. Oh, in terms of other videos, non-sort of product videos. Yeah, naming things is either easy or hard. I've got a name in mind and it's very easy and simple, and I think that's probably going to be the best ultimately. Molten Modular Winter Melt. What is that? Yeah, I mean, we thought of calling it Synthfest Norfolk for a bit, or Synthfest Norwich, but then that's not right because Synthfest is a UK wide thing. So why would you split that down? I don't know. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so with the whole energy thing going on, I thought it might be interesting to do a video on how much power I use in this shed. I mean, it's something I want to work out anyway. I'm trying to work out how to minimize, of course, obviously, because I don't want to be paying thousands of pounds every month. I mean, look at me. I'm surrounded by flipping lights and things that are on. That's crazy. Is it crazy? Should it be crazy? It's a question, you know. I mean, as a civilization, one would have expected by now for energy to be more or less free or cheap and in abundance. So we've come to a weird place. While it's great to conserve energy and to think about that and to be more ecologically savvy, I think, with it. It's also, you know, electrons are something that keep us alive, all this electronic gear. So it's a bit of a conundrum. So I thought I might look into it. I've got some monitoring software to monitor my power usage and some special smart plugs and bits and pieces, and I'm going to try to work out exactly what this shed is costing me and if there's anything I can do to reduce it. I mean, other than just turn the bloody things off. I mean, that's the easy one, really. But I suspect I'm leaking all over the place, just purely because I might turn things off, but I don't turn them off at the wall, stuff like that. So anyway, I'm going to look into that. I think that would be quite interesting. It's something that I genuinely need to do. So that's something. That's something. Oh, Liz is going to cap it, is she? Great. Well, that's all over. Phew, thank goodness for that. God. Oh, I was worried there for a minute. Yeah, honestly, black materia. That was really been my same thought. You know, I want just a big switch that turns everything off, and then in the morning, turns everything on. That's really what you need. But our houses just aren't built like that. If I turn everything else, if I turn things off at the fuse box, for instance, first of all, it's hard to access. I have to fight off spiders. But then you turn off things that don't really want turning off. So it's tricky. I mean, in the shed, it's a little bit easier. But if I turn off the power to the shed, I also turn off the power to the solars, to the solar panels. Well, that's no good. That's no good. So, but I think in the future, perhaps we need to design systems that are isolatable and turn offable like that far, far easier. I think that would be good. I don't think the power companies want us to do that. And my hope is that all of us saving power like this is going to, cut all the profits of the energy company ultimately, because they're shooting themselves in the foot. We're just going to stop using energy as much as we can. So it ain't going to work for them in the end, I don't think. But I think that's an optimistic view. But hey, yeah, giant knife switch, exactly. You've just got a small solar panel and a battery and you can run all your gear for a day. That's lovely. And then another day charging it, or what? My solar setup is painfully disappointing, I'm afraid, because I had a sort of an audit done on our power situation and what choices and things we could possibly done recently, and the guy said your solar's terrible. We were sold a bit of a lemon by the sounds of things. Had it in for sort of 5 or 6 years, and it's like half the power it should be or could have been. But I don't know what that means in terms of price. Maybe we got as much as we could afford at the time, or maybe we were undersold or something for too much money. I don't really know. But suffice to say, the solar is not powerful enough to get us anywhere near what we are using. It's helping, of course, it is helping, but there's no point getting a battery, for instance, because we'll never fill it up. We're using up what it generates. So a battery is not going to help us. But those are sort of interesting things, because there's a lot of weird information out there that makes me scratch my head and go, oh no, it should be doing this, I should be able to do that. And actually the reality is that you can't for the most part. So I think that would also make it an interesting topic. We'll see what I can find out. I mean, obviously it'll be me being a layman trying to work it out, not some kind of wizened electrical engineer who knows these kilowatts from his voltage amps, so so you have to take it as it is. But there we go. Liz is putting 170 billion onto my credit card. Well, that's going to help. That's definitely going to help. 450 watts per panel. Nice. Water engines. Yes. But I mean, I honestly think that we should have been more innovative with this. It should have been for years. We've been asleep at the wheel as far as energy goes, because you would have thought that everything we do should be scalping energy. Every movement should have been captured. Every electrical signal in our brain should have been captured and turned into energy. We should have these vats, these batteries in our homes, which are constantly filled by every step that we take, every breath, every movement, every going up and down the stairs. Our water turbines in the water pipes. It should all be feeding into something. Treadmill, yeah, absolutely. I mean, what would it take to have a bicycle run dynamo in here? Is that something that would really actually help? Could I sit there and pedal and therefore run stuff? I don't know. These are the questions. Oh, excuse me. So, you think a computer screen takes more juice than a doorless setup? That's interesting. Maybe, but hopefully these are some things that I'm going to be able to measure to some degree. I hope so. It might be too hard. Some things are just too hard. And I've got other videos to make, you know what I mean? Although, you know, in terms of clickiness, it's a hot topic, and so could be something worth spending my time on. God, gee whiz, I think I've broken the end off my finger. God, I still sore, flipping it. Yeah. No, Red Dwarf never does look particularly efficient. Yeah, so anyway, we'll leave it there, shall we? That's been a couple of hours and a half. So thanks ever so much for spending time with me this evening. I hope that was mildly interesting. I'm not convinced by the usefulness of that as a video, but I had some fun playing with stuff. ASQ1 in particular was a lot of fun, and the RYK. So those two, I think, were the winners of the night. Though the Malevolent was still quite interesting, and that T8. So, you know, gear is good, man. I like gear. So you can read and see and watch my thoughts about these sorts of things over the next coming weeks as I put these things together. And I hope and endeavour to put together far more videos for September, October, and moving forward. I hope to do that. In the meantime, I might catch you on another Sonic State at some point soon. Or by all means get in touch, comment on my videos, ask me questions, come and join us on Patreon. That would be super. And we'll see where we go. And no, I mean, I totally understand how everybody's in the same boat in terms of energy price and the cost of living and stuff. But, you know, how does lighting a light bulb or cooking food compare to supporting me on Patreon, eh? Hey, you got to get your priorities right, that's for sure. Cool. So, any last thoughts? And I'll call it a night. Nothing happening on my phone. How about yours? Native Instruments seem to have dropped absinthe, which is interesting. See you later, people. And I could talk about Spitfire, but I don't think I will. If you want to hear my thoughts on Spitfire, go and find the Gear News Facebook page where we posted an article about it, and then I ended up getting into a bit of a debate underneath in the comments. So that's all I'll say about that. So thanks very much for sticking with me. Have a good evening or good day or good rest of the thing, and I'll very soon, I hope to see you soon and stuff. All right. Cheers. See you later. Hang on, I've got to find me thing. this, look. Yeah, bye. I'd turn it off if I knew how.